welcome back to my channel. My name is Deanna and I'm a women's health nurse practitioner. On today's video, I'm going to be talking to you ladies about if you have an IUD and you're thinking about getting it out, what kind of things to expect, and if there's anything that you should do to prepare. So if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to check out all my other videos that I post throughout the month, and if you're interested in learning more about how to transition, definitely keep watching. So let's say you have had the IUD for the years it was effective for. You know, they all have different lengths depending on which one you chose, and you decide you want to take a break. Maybe you're considering pregnancy in the future and you're wondering how your body might respond to having the IUD taken out. Also, what is it like to get the IUD out? So, first off, when it comes to getting the IUD out, it is not like when it was inserted. Insertion can be painful. If you are considering getting an IUD, definitely check out my video. I'll link it above for you to check out what that process is like getting an IUD inserted. And yes, I'm not gonna lie, it is painful. Now, removal is not the same thing. It's usually fairly quick. In a perfect world, when everything is running smoothly the way it should, the IUD strings, which come out of the cervix, are visualized by the provider, and the strings are able to be grasped and the IUD is removed. When the IUD is removed, what's a very common sensation to feel is a lot of increased pressure as the IUD is moving out of the uterus into the cervix and out. So just be aware that a lot of increased pressure is very common, which lasts all of 5 seconds when the IUD is coming out. It's so important that after the IUD is removed, that the provider shows you. I know some of you might be like, I don't want to see that, but it actually is important to see that the IUD is intact and it's out of your body. So make sure that you have that. Usually it's pretty standard of care that you're shown the IUD and that everybody confirms it's no longer in your body. So that is the process of getting it removed. It's fairly simple. In some cases, if the IUD strings are not visualized, sometimes this involves needing to do an ultrasound to confirm that the IUD is still in your uterus, where it is, and sometimes special instruments need to be used to kind of grasp the strings if they're further up into the cervix or uterus. In very rare circumstances, sometimes this needs to be done in the OR setting, but for the most part, the general population who get IUDs put in can have them removed in the office in a very quick procedure, and that's it. So that's the removal process. But what can you expect when you have the IUD out? So let's start first with the progestin only IUDs. So that is the Mirena, the Kyleena, the Skyla, and the Liletta. Those are the ones that are out on the market right now in the US. They all have progestin within it. So typically all of those IUDs, they end up causing very light bleeding to no periods while you're using that method. And particularly the Mirena and the Liletta have the highest likelihood that you will not get a period typically while you're on it. Some women do. So when you have gone years with light to no bleeding, and then you have this IUD removed, it is common that however your periods were prior to having the IUD, it's possible for that to return. So particularly if you got the Mirena for heavy bleeding, painful periods, this could come right back after the IUD is removed because the hormone that is in there to thin the lining of the uterus is no longer present. So whatever was going on prior is likely to return unless we address the underlying issue. So the big things to consider is looking at the foods that you're eating throughout the day, your stress level, and your activity level. So whole foods. I feel like a broken record. If you checked out my other videos, it's something I'm constantly talking about, but eating more whole foods in your diet is the foundation of having healthy and balanced hormones. These whole foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, they provide so many nutrients and vitamins for your body to absorb, allowing your hormones to work the way that they should, and also reducing inflammation. Inflammation is one of the things that plays a huge role with heavy bleeding and painful periods. So this is going to be key to get in check. ideally prior to having the IUD removed. So if you're thinking of having it removed and you're somebody who suffered from painful, heavy bleeding and you want to try to avoid that from coming back, but you want the IUD out, definitely looking at your diet, the foods that you're eating, and seeing where you can kind of tweak and add more. I always say add rather than subtract, but adding more greens, green vegetables is really helpful with all the vitamins that are in there to kind of pack in and help reduce inflammation, providing you with antioxidants as well, strengthening your immune system, so many benefits. So that is number one. Number two, like I said, is stress, reducing that stress, finding healthy outlets to reduce the stress, not grabbing that glass of wine or beer, but doing things like yoga, exercise, meditation, breath work are really helpful so that you can turn on your parasympathetic nervous system, which reduces the cortisol, our stress hormone, which helps reduce inflammation. So it sounds so easy, but I know in real life that stress happens and it can be challenging and you have a lot of things going on and you feel like time is not available to you. So a tip that I recommend is making your self-care routine first thing in the morning, before you have your to-do list, before you check your emails, you get checked in with work, before you're checking social media. Take care of you. You know, it's crazy what we kind of put in front of our own self-care. It's just kind of habitual, but where can you be kinder to yourself and make that a priority? And even if it's 5 minutes, very key. Third thing is exercise. Exercise helps increase endorphins in the body. It helps improve your mood, also reducing inflammation. This can also help promote weight loss if that is something that is needed for you. And all of these things can be very helpful, beneficial for your body so that everything is working in harmony the way it's supposed to. So that is things to prep for with the progestin and really I would say the Paragard IUD, the copper IUD. Really the prep for it is very similar. But I will say that for the progestin only IUDs, expect to have irregular bleeding on and off for the first few months after the IUD is removed. So typically after the IUD is removed, sometimes within a few days, you might start bleeding. This is not necessarily your period. This is a withdrawal bleed from no longer getting the hormone in the body. Your body is kind of responding to that and bleeding a little bit. So everybody will be a little bit different. Some women will start bleeding as soon as they leave the office after the IUD is removed. Sometimes it takes a few days for that to happen. So be prepared. Usually in the office, they can give you pad, panty liner if you need, but you definitely want to carry that with you, especially if you're somebody who has not been getting periods for a long time due to the side effect of the IUD. It could feel a little weird to now all of a sudden have to remember to carry those things with you because you could experience unscheduled bleeding. So that can occur for up to 3 months. Usually by the 3rd month, things will regulate themselves out. If they do not, it's important you check in with your provider. Don't wait past 3 months if you're still not getting a period to make sure there's nothing else going on hormonally that needs to be addressed. Sometimes supplements need to be added, sometimes blood work needs to be done to check and see where your actual levels are at. So that's important. Now the copper IUD, right, that has no hormones in it. So it's not quite as abrupt of a transition, I would say, compared to any hormonal method that you're stopping. So generally with the copper IUD, one of the side effects that can occur is heavier bleeding with more painful cramping for some women who are using that IUD. Sometimes that's not an issue at all, but there are women that experience that. So particularly if you're somebody who is experiencing that and that's the reason you want this IUD out, expect your periods to calm down and no longer have as heavy of a bleed with as painful a period. The problem is with the copper IUD, what some women are experiencing when they have those symptoms is that there's actually more inflammation going on due to the copper inside. So when that's removed, that kind of goes away. So there's not as much of a abrupt hormonal transition with the Paragard because there are no hormones in it to begin with. The IUD removal is the same as the progestin only, so very similar in that respect. So I hope you found this video helpful. Questions that I get a lot are, is pregnancy possible once they're removed? Yes, they are. it's possible immediately. So if that's not in your plan right now, it's important that you have another option in place, whether that be condoms or using the fertility awareness method, which is gaining a lot of popularity with the many apps that are out there. And I've talked about that in another video. I will link it above if you're interested in learning more about a more natural birth control method that you have control over. But yes, pregnancy is absolutely possible. Ideally, if you're gonna get off the progestin only IUD, if you can wait 1 to 3 months to allow your body to kind of reset and get back to its normal, regular hormonal rhythm, it is best if you have some time to afford. If you are eager to get started and having a family, then maybe this doesn't work out for you. But if you can, that's a good idea. It is a little bit more beneficial, and also it's good to start prenatal vitamins for at least 3 months consistently before you're actively starting to get pregnant. So those are things to keep in mind. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below any other topics you want me to cover. Also check out my Instagram. It's @_the ladies guide. I love interacting with you all on there. I have a lot of exciting news over the next few weeks. So definitely head over there and check me out. I really appreciate you watching this video. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Hope you have a great day. Bye.